Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of 8 versus 16. On this episode, I will be covering Punch Out, or Mike Tyson's Punch Out. This is the Mr. Dream version, but you know what this game is for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and Super Punch Out for the Super Nintendo. Now, the Punch Out games themselves, they're very fun to play, arcade style gameplay. This was originally an arcade game before it came to the home consoles. But just the characters in the game, the music, the great gameplay in the game has been a very popular franchise for over about 30 years now, almost. It'll actually be 30 years next year, technically, because the first game came out in 1984 for the arcade. But in this particular episode, I'm going to be going over the music, gameplay, and the overall characters in the game, and who's going to win in 8 versus 16 in this particular episode. So let's start off with the background of both games, Punch Out and Super Punch Out. But first, we're going to look at the arcade games. Before I talk about Punch Out and Super Punch Out for its respective consoles, I want to go back to 1984 in the arcades. Game made by Nintendo, a boxing game. What can the game be called? It was called, well, Punch Out. Yes, the original Punch Out was called Punch Out, but it was an arcade version, and it had the same style of gameplay that we all grew up and love today. But the reason why this game is so important is because it introduced some of the mainstay characters in the series, like Glass Joe, Piston Hurricane, Ball Bull, and Mr. Sandman.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a new champion.
A sequel came out just a year later, named Super Punch Out. Haha. I would have guessed. I would not have guessed it would be Super Punch Out. Well, anyway, there were some other mainstay characters in the series like Bear Hugger, Dragon Chan, Great Tiger, Super Macho Man, and a guy named Vodka Drunkenski. Who the hell is that? Oh yeah, he changed his name to Soda Popnitsky. Wow, his original name was Vodka Drunkenski. That's pretty good. Well, anyway, also as well that introduced in the series is the duck move, which may not seem much now, but back then, you know, it was very important to add that in the series because in the original version of the arcade game, you couldn't do that. So, if you haven't played either one of these games, check them out.
Body please down for the count. 1, 2, 3. Get up. Right. Body blow.
In October 1987, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was introduced for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Punch-Out was designed by Genyo Takeda and composed by Yukio Kanokia. As you know, I suck with Japanese names. You played the role of Little Mac, which was in reference to the popular McDonald's Big Mac hamburger, which is freaking ridiculous to me, but I see where they got the name from. Punch-Out is superior to the arcade version in every way, including animated cutscenes, a password system, and even background music. In 1990, a re-release simply called Punch-Out, where the game itself is the same except for facing Tyson as your final opponent, you face a boxer named Mr. Dream. Mr. Dream, he's so dreamy. Look at him, he's so dreamy and cute. Look at him. Well, the reason why this happened is because Tyson rumored to have a 3-year contract that was not renewed in 1990. A sequel called Mike Tyson's Power Punch was scheduled to be released in 1991, but Mike Tyson decided to rape a woman named Desiree Washington in 1991. So that's why we never got Power Punch 2. Well, anyway, Punch Out has sold over 2 million copies, which is one of the highest selling boxing games of all time. I'm glad I have this game. It is just simply awesome. Super Punch-Out was released for the Super Nintendo in October of 1994. Genyo Takeda once again took over control as main designer and producer. You take control of a different looking little mech as you box through the WVBA to become champion. And it's actually ridiculous to me because you went from this to this. This to this. Pretty ridiculous if you ask me. He looks way different than he did in the original version. Super Punch-Out carries over some of the same things that was in the previous entries and also adds a few things itself. And it also subtracts a few things itself that I didn't like. One thing I personally don't like is not having multiple rounds, or the animation, or the dialogue in between rounds. There was no Mike Tyson in this game, which kind of turned away gamers, but some gamers truly missed out on some quick and rapid gameplay. Super Punch-Out introduced new characters and some classic characters in previous games, which made it a familiar yet new experience for gamers. Super Punch-Out went on to sell an unknown amount because Wikipedia didn't fucking tell me. Thanks, Wikipedia! I needed it for this video, fuckers.
Knockout. Pizza cake.
Ugh. Whew, excuse me. Oh, that was a mouthful. Yes, and a mouthful, as I just said here, for Super Punch-Out, the original Punch-Out in the arcade games. You know, Super Punch-Out's been around since 1984. I can't believe it's going to be 30 years next year for this series, this franchise. But let's get into it. Let's get into the first round of 8 versus 16. And let's talk about the first round. Let's look at both games' characters. In the Punch-Out series, the characters are probably one of the most important things that gamers look forward to. In Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, you have some of the same characters that were carried over from the arcade games like Glass Joe, Ball Bull, and Great Tiger. You also have new characters like King Hippo, Don Flamenco, and Pista Honda to join you in the ring. What also brought these characters to life is the anime cutscenes. You have great anime cutscenes with even better things to say like, I am a gay Spanish rose-biting dancer, ole! Someone buy me just for men. I'm 28 with gray hair. Why the fuck am I here? Can you kick my ass already? I hope no one sees these bandages on my stomach, or else I'm fucked. In Little Mac's corner, you have a trainer, Doc Lewis, who's an inspiration and gives you great feedback during your fight, like, join the Nintendo Fun Club today? Okay. And of course you have Mike Tyson, who is the big draw for this game. Let's just say he's one of the most hardest sons of bitches in gaming. He's pretty much impossible. In Super Punch-Out, the characters are bigger and badder. In Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, there were a total of 11 characters, while in Super Punch-Out, there were 16. You have some of the mainstay characters like Piston Hurricane, Super Macho Man, and Bear Hugger. But there are a lot more characters in this version that actually fit typical stereotypes, like Mass Muscle, Iki Gagero, and Bob Charlie. Can it get even more fucked up than that? Wait a second, Bob Charlie? Bob Charlie? Oh, I get it! Like Bob Marley. Bob Marley, I get it. I wonder if he gets high like Bob Marley too. These characters are just as tricky, if not more tricky than their NES counterpart. For example, Mad Clown. Just what the fuck is he doing here? How am I supposed to dodge this if I'm playing him for the first time? Fuck that clown.
Fight! Knockout!
Now, Super Punch-Out had a lot of great characters, but with Mike Tyson, the original Punch-Out, where Nintendo uses likeness in the game, puts it over the top, and also the overall characters are better than the game. I mean, of course you had Glass Joe, you had Ball Bull, Super Macho Man, Mr. Sandman, and all those guys were in Super Punch-Out as well. But with the exception of Glass Joe, you had Gabby J in the Super Punch-Out. But it just the overall characters in the game. Doc Lewis is in the game. Doc Lewis is not even in Super Punch-Out. So round 1 goes to the original Punch-Out. So let's go and get into round 2, guys, and let's talk about both games' music. In the Punch-Out series, Not only are the characters very important, so is the music. I think gamers look forward to the music more than the characters at sometimes. Well, there are two themes in the original Punch-Out that I really love. Of course, you have your opening theme. And, of course, with the opening theme, when you win a championship in one of the circuits in Punch-Out, you get to listen to this great training montage theme, which I think is one of the best themes ever in video games. In Super Punch-Out has been known to not have that many good of themes. But me personally, I think some themes are actually good in this game. For example, the main title screen. Now, the main title screen is good, but I also like the in-game fighting music for the minor circuit.
Fight!
You know, I actually somewhat of a fan of the Super Punch-Out music. I'm not really too big on it. I know a lot of people hate it. It's like, oh, it fucking sucks. Oh, the music is so horrible. I think it's okay. I don't think it's, god-awful horrible. But you cannot compare Super Punch-Out to the original Punch-Out's music. You know, the montage scene when you see Little Mac running, and you see the Statue of Liberty, that's so epic. The opening intro is epic. The in-ring music is epic. So, without a doubt, it's a no-brainer. Round 2 goes to the original Punch-Out. So, Punch-Out is up 2-0. Doesn't mean it's going to win because this next and final round is very important. Is very important. So, let's talk about round 3 and let's talk about both games' gameplay. In the Punch-Out series, not only is the characters and the music important, also the gameplay. Without good gameplay, then you have a very crappy game. For most games, at least. In the original Punch-Out, you have a heart counter which goes down whenever you get hit or whenever you miss a punch. What this represents is your stamina. Now, when it goes down to 0, you must do a very precise dodge to get your stamina back. If you don't do so, you can't hit nobody. And when you can't hit nobody, then you're pretty much fucked. And when you're pretty much fucked, you lose. And when you lose, you're a loser. Do a block by pressing the down button on the D-pad, and you can also dodge left and right. Also in this game, you can gain stars. You can obtain a star by simply doing a precise counter punch. If you do the counter punch right, you get a star. And whenever you press the star button, it will take a lot of energy away from your boxer, or even sometimes knock him down instantly. I think it is the best feature in this game. Super Punch-Out carries some more of the same things that the original Punch-Out has. Not only you can dodge left and right and block your face, but in Super Punch-Out you can duck, block your body, and you can also do super punches to the stomach, to the face, or rapid punches to the face or to the stomach. It's a lot easier to gain your special in Super Punch-Out. Simply because you don't have to do a counter punch and get a star, then press the start button, then gain another one back. In Super Punch-Out, you can just get a couple punches in, build up your meter. Once your meter is lining up to the S, you can unleash your special until you get hit again. And you can have it during the whole fight, which I think is a lot better than just gain a random star and pressing the start button, then you have to gain it back again. Now, one thing in Super Punch-Out that I do not like, it's not really gameplay's sake, but it's just the fact that you don't have multiple rounds and that the match could end in 3 minutes. If it ends in 3 minutes, you lose the fight, even though you could be kicking someone's ass. Well, anyway, Super Punch-Out is a great game overall to play. If you have not played this game yet, you should definitely check it out.
Come on, come on.
The original Punch-Out has some good gameplay, but Super Punch-Out wins round 3. It has the better gameplay. You can dodge easier. You have 2 supers. Just overall, as far as what your opponents could do, as far as their specials, is a lot more dynamic than the original Punch-Out. Overall, Super Punch-Out is the far more superior game as far as gameplay is concerned than to the original Punch-Out. Now, even though that Super Punch-Out won gameplay, and gameplay is a very, very big piece of the pie for a better game overall, in this episode of 8 vs 16, this goes to the original Punch-Out. I mean, first of all, it has Mike Tyson in it. Even though this is the Mr. Dream version, it has Mike Tyson. It has better characters. It has better music. You know, I mean, it has the animated cutscenes when you win the title, when you're running down, you know, on the New York City Statue of Liberty. You know, the fact that, you know, you have the animated cutscenes in between rounds. Super Punch-Out, you don't even have it in between rounds. You just have 3 minutes. If it's 3 minutes in the fight, you lose. You know, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. I kind of hate that in a way. But the fact that you have multiple rounds, you know, like I said, better music, you know, better characters overall in the game. Super Punch-Out wins this episode of 8 vs 16 with the supreme victory.
Supreme victory.
And you know what? I'm actually gonna go ahead and play this right now. Please rate, please subscribe, please drop a comment. Let me know your memories of Super Punch-Out, Punch-Out. You know, the arcade versions, the Wii versions. If you think they should make more Punch-Outs, let me know. But overall, both games are very great though, so you can't go wrong with buying either one or buying both. But until then, guys, you guys have a good day. Peace out.